through this St. Olaves mini mock 9 video walkthrough together step by step. Math section. Question 1. The question is, what is 7 to the power of 3, also known as 7 cubed? Here are your multiple choice options. A 463, B 413, C 289, D 347, or E 343. The correct answer is E, which is 343. Why the other options are wrong? A, B, and D are just incorrect calculations. C, which is 289, is what you get if you do 17 times 17, or 17 squared, not 7 cubed. Let's break down the solution. When we see 7 cubed, 7 to the power of 3, it means we need to multiply 7 by itself 3 times. 7 times 7 times 7. First, let's do 7 times 7. That equals 49. Now, we take that 49 and multiply it by 7. If it's easier, you can break it down like this. 40 times 7 plus 9 times 7. 40 times 7 is 280, and 9 times 7 is 63. Add those together. 280 plus 63 equals 343. Another way to think about it is to round 49 up to 50. So 50 times 7 equals 350. But since we added 1 to 49 to make it 50, we need to subtract that 1 times 7, which is 7, from 350. That gives us 350 minus 7 equals 343. Question 2. Next question. What is the value of the 3 and the number 3,910? Your multiple choice answers are A 30, B 300,000, C 30,000, D 3,000, or E 300. The correct answer here is D, which is 3,000. Why the other options are wrong? The other options just have the wrong place value. 30 would be if the 3 was in the tens place, 300 is the hundreds place, and 30,000 would be the 10,000s place. Here's the detailed explanation. To figure out the value of a digit, you need to know its place value. So in the number 903,910, the 0 is in the ones place, the 1 is in the tens place, the 9 is in the hundreds place, and the 3 is in the thousands place. That means the value of the 3 is 3,000. Question 3. Here's your question. The donut shop is offering a 50% off discount when customers buy a dozen of any one variety of donut. How much would a box containing 12 brownie dream cake donuts cost? Your multiple choice options are A 9 pounds and 60 pence, B 5 pounds and 10 pence, C 10 pounds and 80 pence, D 10 pounds and 20 pence, or E 8 pounds. 45. The correct answer is C, which is 10 pounds and 80 pence. Why the other options are wrong? These answers come from making mistakes when you calculate. If you forget to apply the 50% discount, you would get 21 pounds and 60 pence, but that's not even one of the options. If you calculate the discount on just one donut before multiplying, you might get some rounding errors. Option A, which is 9 pounds and 60 pence, is the cost of 12 donuts at 80p each. Here's the detailed explanation. First, we need to find the price of 1 dozen brownie dream cake donuts at full price. The menu shows that one costs 1 pound and 80 pence. So to calculate that, we would do 12 times 1 pound and 80 pence. We can calculate this as 12 times 1 pound plus 12 times 80p equals 12 pounds plus 9 pounds and 60 pence equals 21 pounds and 60 pence. But we have a discount. The offer is a 50% discount. 50% means half price. So we have to divide 21 pounds and 60 pence by 2, which equals 10 pounds and 80 pence. Question 4. Next question. Arun is cutting a length of rope into 3 smaller lengths. The first piece is twice as long as the second piece, which, in turn, is twice as long as the third piece. The rope is 700 centimeters long. How long will the third piece of rope be? Your multiple choice options are A 150 centimeters, B 250 centimeters, C 50 centimeters, D 100 centimeters, or E 200 centimeters. The correct answer is D, which is 100 centimeters. Why the other options are wrong? The other options come from misinterpreting the relationships between the pieces. Option E, 200 centimeters, would be the length of the second piece. Options A, B, and C result from setting up the ratio incorrectly. Here's the detailed explanation. This is what we call a ratio problem. Let's define the lengths in terms of the smallest piece, which is the third piece. Let's call the length of the third piece x. The second piece is twice as long as the third, so its length is 2 times x. or 2x. The first piece is twice as long as the second, so its length is 2 times 2x equals 4x. The total length is the sum of the three pieces, 4x plus 2x plus x equals 7x. We know the total length is 700 centimeters, so 7x equals 700 centimeters. To find x, which is the length of the third piece, we divide 700 by 7. X equals 700 divided by 7 equals 100 centimeters. Question 5. The question is, Tom's journey to his office during the rush hour takes 15 minutes. It is a 14-mile drive. What is his average speed? Your multiple choice options are A, 48 miles per hour, B, 56 miles per hour, C, 55 miles per hour, D, 59 miles per hour, or E, 58 miles per hour. The correct answer is B, which is 56 miles per hour. Why the other options are wrong? The incorrect options come from making errors in converting time. If you were to incorrectly divide 14 by 15, or use the numbers in another incorrect calculation, you might arrive at one of the other choices. Here's the detailed explanation. The formula for average speed is speed equals distance divided by time. The answers are required in miles per hour, mph, but the time is given in minutes. You must convert the time first. There are 60 minutes in an hour. 15 minutes is a quarter of an hour. 15/60ths equals 1/4 or 0.25. Now apply the formula. Speed equals 14 miles divided by 0.25 hours. Dividing by 0.25 is the same as multiplying by 4. Speed equals 14 times 4 equals 56 miles per hour. Question 6. Here's your question. A bottle loses water at a rate of 250 milliliters per hour. If the bottle holds 1.5 liters and is full, after how many hours will the bottle be empty? Your multiple choice options are A, 4 hours, B, 6 hours, C, 8 hours, D, 7 hours, or E, 5 hours. The correct answer is B, which is 6 hours. Why the other options are wrong? The incorrect options arise from calculation errors or failing to convert the units correctly before dividing. For example, trying to calculate 1.5 divided by 250. Here's the detailed explanation. The units are different, milliliters and liters. First, make them the same. Let's convert liters to milliliters, as it avoids decimals. 1 liter is the same as 1,000 milliliters. So 1.5 liters is the same as 1,500 milliliters. The bottle loses 250 milliliters each hour. To find out how long it takes to empty, we divide the total volume by the rate of loss. Time equals 1,500 milliliters divided by 250 milliliters per hour. To simplify, you can think, how many 250s are in 1,500? We know there are 4 250s in 1,000. There are 2 250s in the remaining 500. 4 plus 2 equals 6. So it will take 6 hours for the bottle to empty. Question 7. The question is, what is 12% of 2.5 L? Your multiple choice options are A, 300 milliliters, B, 150 milliliters, C, 450 milliliters, D, 335 milliliters, or E, 175 milliliters. The correct answer is A, which is 300 milliliters. Why the other options are wrong? The other options are incorrect calculations. A common error is miscalculating the percentages or making a mistake when converting from liters to milliliters. Here's the detailed explanation. The answers are in milliliters, ml, so first convert the 2.5 liters, L, to ml. 1 L equals 1,000 milliliters, so 2.5 L equals 2,500 milliliters. Now, you need to find 12% of 2,500. A good way to do this is to find 10% and 1% first. To find 10% of 2,500, we divide 2,500 by 10, which equals 250. To find 1% of 2,500, we divide 2,500 by 100, which equals 25. We need 12%, which is 10% plus 1% plus 1%. This is 250 plus 25 equals 300. So 12% of 2.5 L is 300 milliliters. Question 8. Here is your question. Joe's 30 hens have each laid an average of 2 eggs every day during May. How many eggs in total have Joe's hens laid in May? Your multiple choice options are A. 1560 eggs, B. 1760 eggs, C. 1780 eggs, D. 1820 eggs, or E. 1860 eggs. The correct answer is E, which is 1860 eggs. Why the other options are wrong? The most common error is forgetting the number of days in May. If you assume May has 30 days, your answer would be 30 hens times 2 eggs per day times 30 days equals 1,800 eggs. Not an option, but close to D. The other options are calculation errors. Here's the detailed explanation. This is a multi-step calculation. The key piece of information you need to know is the number of days in May, which is 31. First, calculate the total number of eggs laid per day. 30 hens times 2 eggs / hen equals 60 eggs per day. Next, calculate the total eggs laid in all of May, 31 days. 60 eggs per day times 31 days. To find this, we multiply 60 by 31 equals 60 times 30 plus 60 times 1 equals 1,800 plus 60 equals 1,860. In total, 1,860 eggs were laid in May. Question 9. All right, listen up. The question says, using the information provided, how much more expensive is it to buy 20 first-class stamps than to buy 20 second-class stamps? Here are the multiple choice answers. A is 5 pounds and 20 pence, B is 4 pounds and 80 pence, C is 5 pounds and 80 pence, D is 5 pounds and 40 pence, and E is 5 pounds and 90 pence. The correct answer here is D, which is 5 pounds and 40 pence. Now, let's see why the other answers are not correct. The other options come about from making a mistake when subtracting or during the final multiplication. If you forget to find the difference and add the costs, you end up with a much larger number, which isn't right. So how do we solve this problem? Here's how. The quickest way is to find the price difference between a single first-class and a single second-class stamp. A first-class stamp costs 95p, and a second-class stamp costs 68p. So the difference in price for one stamp is 95p minus 68p, which equals 27p. Now, we need to find the total difference for 20 stamps. So we multiply 20 by 27p. That's 20 times 27, which equals 540p. But the answers are in pounds, not pence. So we need to convert 540p into pounds. There are 100 pennies in a pound, so 540p is 5 pounds and 40 pence. And that's why D is the correct answer. Question 10. Okay, next question. Amy's freezer is super cold at minus 18 degrees Celsius. She takes out a packet of peas, and after half an hour, the peas' temperature has gone up by 11 degrees Celsius. What's the temperature of the peas now? The multiple choice answers are, and that's why D is the correct answer. Question 10. Okay, next question. Amy's freezer is super cold at minus 18 degrees Celsius. She takes out a packet of peas, and after half an hour, the peas' temperature has gone up by 11 degrees Celsius. What's the temperature of the peas now? The multiple choice answers are, A is minus 8 degrees Celsius, B is 11 degrees Celsius, C is 29 degrees Celsius, D is minus 29 degrees Celsius, and E is minus 7 degrees Celsius. The right answer is E, which is minus 7 degrees Celsius. So let's see why the other answers are wrong. D, at minus 29 degrees Celsius, happens if you subtract 11 from minus 18 incorrectly, making it even colder. C, at 29 degrees Celsius, is what you get if you ignore the minus sign on the 18 and just add 18 and 11. A, at minus 8 degrees Celsius, is just a mistake in the calculation. So how do we solve it? This question involves working with negative numbers. We start at minus 18 degrees Celsius. The temperature goes up, so we need to add. The calculation is minus 18 plus 11. Think of a number line. You're starting at minus 18 and moving 11 steps towards the right, which is the positive direction. If you move 11 steps closer to 0 from minus 18, you'll land on minus 7. So the new temperature of the peas is minus 7 degrees Celsius. Question 11. Next up, question 11. At the local cinema, each row has the same number of seats. The rows are labeled with letters. If each row has 22 seats, how many seats are there in rows C to H, including C and H? The multiple choice answers are, A is 88, B is 110, C is 132, D is 154, and E is 126. The correct answer is C, which is 132. Now let's look at why the other options are incorrect. Option B, which is 110, is a tricky one. It's there because some people might incorrectly calculate the number of rows as 5. They might subtract C3 from H8 and get 5, instead of counting C and H as part of the total. The other options are simply calculation errors. So how do we solve it? The key word here is inclusive, which means you need to count both the first and the last rows, that is, rows C and H. Let's list the rows to make it easier. C, D, E, F, G, H. If you count them up, there are 6 rows in total. Each of these 6 rows has 22 seats. So the total number of seats is 6 rows times 22 seats per row. If you calculate 6 times 22, you get 132. So C is correct. Question 12. Okay, let's move on to question 12. What is the missing number from the times table grid below? Multiple choices. A is 48, B is 54, C is 56, D is 58, and E is 64. The answer is C, which is 56. Why not the other options? The other options are incorrect multiplication facts. They are close to the correct answer to catch those who are guessing or misremember their times tables. 48 is 8 times 6, 54 is 9 times 6, and 64 is 8 times 8. Detailed explanation. The grid is a standard multiplication, times table grid. To find the missing number, locate its row and column. It is in the row that begins with 8 and the column that begins with 7. Therefore, the missing number is the result of 8 times 7. 8 times 7 equals 56. Question 13. Okay, let's move on to question 13. The wooded area of the park is at 1, 8. The skate park is at multiple choices. A is 2, 7. B is 8, 2. C is 7, 2. D is 3, 5, and E is 7, 7. The answer is C, which is 7. 2. Why not the other options? Option A, 2, 7, is the result of swapping the X and Y coordinates, going up first, then along. The other options point to different, incorrect locations on the grid. Detailed explanation. Coordinates are always written in the format X, Y. The rule for reading coordinates is to go along the corridor X-axis and then up the stairs Y-axis. First, find the skate park icon on the grid. Look down from the icon to the horizontal X-axis at the bottom. It lines up with the number 7, so X equals 7. Look across from the icon to the vertical Y-axis on the side. It lines up with the number 2, so Y equals 2. The coordinates are 7, 2. Question 14. Okay, let's move on to question 14. How many degrees will there be in angle X? Multiple choices. A is 40 degrees, B is 95 degrees, C is 50 degrees, D is 35 degrees, and E is 45 degrees. Diagram information. 2 parallel lines are intersected by a transversal line. The left pointing angles are X and 55 degrees. The right pointing angle is 85 degrees. Correct mathematical solution. The problem is solved using a fundamental property of straight line, since both angles are in the same angle. Step 1. Add 85 and 55 degrees, which is 140 degrees in total. Step 2. Straight line angle is 180 degrees in total. Subtract 140 degrees from 180 degrees. We had the equation 180 degrees minus 140 degrees, which equals X, which equals 40 degrees. So our conclusion is this. Using what we know about geometric principles and the numbers in the diagram, the value of angle X is 40 degrees. Why aren't the other options correct? Well, it's because they're the wrong calculation. Question 15. Let's try number 15. This question says, half of a cake is eaten, and then half of what's left is eaten. What percentage of the cake is remaining? Our choices are A, which is 30%, B, which is 20%, C, which is 40%, D, which is 25%, and E, which is 35%. The correct answer is D, 25%. Now, here's why the other options aren't right. The most common mistake people make is thinking that if 2 halves have been eaten, then there's nothing left. That would be like saying 100% minus 50% minus 50% equals 0%. But here's the key. The second half that's eaten is taken from what's remaining after the first half was eaten. Let's break it down. Imagine the whole cake is 100%. First, we eat half of it, which is 50%. So the amount that's still there is 100% minus 50%, which leaves us with 50%. Next, we eat half of that remaining cake. The remainder is 50%, remember? So half of 50% is 25%. That means we're eating another 25% of the original cake. The amount left is what was remaining from before, minus the amount we just ate. So 50% minus 25% equals 25%. That's why 25% of the cake is left. Question 16. Last one? Question 16. A battery company says their battery lasts 25% longer than their competitors. Their battery lasts 10 hours. How long does the competitor's battery last? Our possible answers are A, 8 hours, B, 6 hours, C, 9 hours, D, 7 hours, and E, 5 hours. The correct answer here is A, 8 hours. So why aren't the other answers correct? Well, this question is a bit tricky because it's what we call a reverse percentage problem. The biggest mistake people make, which leads them to pick answer D, is calculating 25% of 10 hours. That would be 2.5 hours, and if you subtract that, you get 7.5 hours. But that's not right. Remember, the 25% is based on the competitor's battery time, which we don't know yet, not the 10 hours of this battery. Here's how we solve it. We know the new battery lasts 10 hours, and that's 25% longer than the competitor's. That means those 10 hours are equal to the competitor's original 100%, plus an extra 25%. So 10 hours equals 125% of the competitor's battery life. What we need to do is find what the original 100% is. First, let's find out what just 25% is worth. To get from 125% down to 25%, we divide by 5. That means we also have to divide the time by 5. 10 hours divided by 5 equals 2 hours. So we know that 25% is equal to 2 hours. Now, to find the original 100%, we multiply that 25% value by 4. So 100% equals 2 hours times 4, which is 8 hours. Therefore, the competitor's battery lasts for 8 hours.
So now I'm going to be going through the answers to the MVR section of the mini mock. So basically what you've got to do is so I'm just going to read the instructions. So you look at the two shapes separated by an arrow on the left. The first shape is related to the second shape in some way. To the right of these shapes there is a third shape followed by an arrow and 5 other shapes. One of these shapes is related to the shapes before the arrow in the same way as the two shapes on the left are related to each other. So basically these two shapes are related to each other somehow. And then you've got to find one from A to E that is also related. So for this one, you've got, so let's just count the sides first, see if it's like that. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So they're both 7-sided shapes. So here we've got 4 and 4, so that's 8, not that. 3 and 6, 9. 4 and 5 is 9. 4 and 6 is 10. 3 and 3 is 6, plus 1 is 7. So E is the answer. Remember, a circle is classed as a one-sided shape. Next, we've got two bigger shapes and inside. So here we have a big circle and inside we've got 3 smaller circles and 1 is black. Here we've got a triangle. Inside we've got 3 smaller triangles and 1 is black. So the answer is not A because we've got 2 black smaller squares. Not B because we've got 2 black and we've got 4 in total. The answer is C because we've only got 1 black pentagon and we've got 3 in total. It's not D, just to clarify, because this has got a square that is black in it for some reason and all the other pentagons are white. And then E is wrong because there's 2 black hexagons when there should only be 1. Next, we've got 2 triangles and there's 2 black circles. And as you can see, they're not on the corner with the right angle. They're on the other 2 corners. So the right angle is here and they're on the other 2 points. So it's not A because this is the right angle. It's not B because we've got 3 black circles when there should only be 2. The answer is C, 2 black circles not attached to the corner with the right angle. Then not D because this is the right angle again, and not E because there's only 1. Next question, we've got this square sort of shape with curved edges. So I'm just going to count the number of lines, see if it's to do with that. So we've got 1, 2, 3. Here we've got 1, 2, 3. And as you can see, the lines don't overlap each other. They just touch each other. So it's not A because they overlap here. It's not B because they overlap again. Not C because they overlap again. Not D because there's 1, 2, 3, 4 lines when there should only be 1, 2, 3. So the answer is E. We've got 1, 2, 3 lines and they don't overlap. Now on to the code questions. So for these, you just look at the first, so you look at 2 of the boxes that have the same letter in the same place and see what shape, pattern or colour they have in common. So these 2 both have a P as the first letter and they both have an arrow pointing to the right. The test shape has an arrow pointing up, same as the third box, and the first letter here is an S, so it's going to be an S here. So I'm just going to rule out all the ones that don't have S as the first letter. Next thing, these 2 both have a T as the first letter, as the second letter, and they're both white arrows. The test shape has diagonal lines in it, so it's striped. So does this one. And the second letter here is a Q, so it's going to be a Q here as well. So that means the answer is C, SQ. Next question. These 2 both have a B as the first letter. And they both have this star, this one. The test shape also has that star, so the first letter is going to be a B. So we can rule out those 2. Because they've got A as the first letter. Next thing. So we've got 3 different second letters. So they must all the boxes must have something that's different. And the thing they all have different is the number of circles. So this has 2, this has 4, this has 3. In the test shape we've got 4, same as this one, and the second letter here is an F. So it's going to be an F here, a BF, so the answer is A. Next question. These 2 both have an F as the first letter. And what they both have in common is that the shape at the bottom is black. As you can see, for the second box, that has a different first letter and the top shape is black. Because the top shape is black here as well, the first letter is going to be a G. So we can rule out those 2. Next thing, 3 different second letters again. And the thing they all have different is the main big shape. So we've got a circle, triangle and a square. Test shape, we've got a circle, same as the first box, and the second letter here is an X, so it's going to be an X here. GX, so the answer is B. So with these, you just repeat the same procedure. So these both have T as the first letter, and they both have 4 circles in total. As you can see, in this box there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that's different. Here we've also got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And the first letter here is a V. It's going to be a V here. So we can rule out those 2. Next question. So they've all got 3 different second letters. That's because there's a different number of circles that's shaded. So as you can see, all of them are shaded here, and all of them are shaded here as well. And the second letter here is an X, so it's going to be an X here, VX, so the answer is A. Next question. These two both have an X as the first letter, and they both have white arrows. Here we've got black, same as this one, black, and the first letter here is a Y, so we're going to have a Y here, so we can rule out those two. 3 different second letters again, and that's because we've got different directions of the arrows. So in actually not direction, we've got 3 different numbers of arrows. So here we've got 1 2 3 4, 1 2 3 4 5, 1 2 3. Here we've got 1 2 3, so these two are the same, and the second letter here is a C, and it's going to be a C here, so the answer is D. Next question. These two both have a B as the first letter, and they're both 3D shapes. This is also a 3D shape. As you can see, the first box, that's a 2D shape. So this is also going to be a B, so we can rule out those 3. Always rule them out in case there's some other confusions that happen, and it just makes it easier for you if you rule out the options as you go along. 3 different second letters again, and that's because the different number of black circles again. Here we've got 3, 4 and 5. Here we've got 3, same as this one, D. It's going to be a D here. So BD, so the answer is C. More code questions still. So we've got L and L, and that's because they're both black, whereas this one is white, and the test shape is also white, and the first letter here is an M, so it's going to be an M here. So rule out those 3. Next question. Now on to the second letter. 3 different second letters again, and that's because we've got different shapes around the stars. So here we've got square, here we've got a rectangle, here we've got like a tilted square, like a rotated square. So here we've got a rectangle, same as the second box, and the second letter is a U, so it's going to be a U here. So the answer is B. Next question, we've got D and a D here, and that's because we've got the rectangle with curved corners, whereas here we've just got a normal rectangle with normal right-angled corners. And this first letter here is an E, so it's going to be an E here. So we'll rule out those 2. 3 different second letters. And that's because we've got the arrow. We've got the arrows pointing in different directions. So here they're pointing up, here they're pointing to the right, here they're pointing down. Here they're pointing up, same as this one. The second letter here is H, so it's going to be a H here. EH, so the answer is E. Last of the code questions, I think. So we've got these two both have an M as the first letter, and they're both triangles. The test shape is also a triangle, so it's going to be an M. So we can rule out those 2. 3 different second letters. That's because they're differently coloured. So this is striped, This is black. This is white. This is also white, same as this one. And the second letter here is a Z, so it's going to be a Z here. MZ, so the answer is E. Now on to these questions. Choose which of the pictures is most like the other four. So here, the answer to this one. So I'm just going to say what the answer is, then explain why. So this is just the odd one out questions, but it's just worded differently. So the odd one out here is B, because as you can see, for all the rest, the bigger shape and the one with the straight edges, not dashed edges, is always on the left. Whereas here it's on the right. So B is the odd one out. Here, just gonna count them, see if it's true that. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So E is the odd one out because there's 6 shapes instead of 5. Next question. So here the odd one out is C, because as you can see in all the rest, so here in the first one we've got 2 ovals and they're both like the same shape, just one is at the bottom, one's at the top. Same shape as the diagonal lines are going in the same direction, just one's below the other. 2 plus shapes, diagonal lines in the same direction. Same here with the pentagons. Whereas here, one of the triangles has been rotated, as the diagonal lines are going this way, and then they're going, and then this shape has like been rotated. So C is the odd one out, because they should just be, so there should be just one of the shapes below the other, the same orientation, not rotated. I think this is the last question. So here, the odd one out is E, because all the rest are parallel lines. So parallel lines are lines that will never meet. If you just extend them, they'll never meet. Whereas here, as you can see, if you extend them, they're eventually going to touch each other because they're pointing in towards each other. They're not parallel, so E is the odd one out. And that's the end of the MVR section. I'm just going to check there's no extra questions here. So yeah, that's the end.
Let's take a look at the verbal reasoning section. This is all about using words like puzzles. We need to find hidden patterns in the letters. Let's get started with the first question. Question number 1 says that rescue, cure, bread follows the same rule as squared, halos. We need to figure out what that rule is. Look closely at the first example. The word cure is made up of letters from both rescue and bread. Can you see where those letters come from? C and U are in rescue, and R and E are in bread. It looks like the pattern is taking 2 letters from the first word and 2 letters from the second word. Specifically, the letters are taken from specific positions in each word. Now, let's apply that same rule to squared, halos. We need to find a word that uses 2 letters from squared and 2 letters from halos, just like in the first example. The correct answer is real. The letters R and E are in squared, and the letters A and L are in halos. See, that follows the exact same pattern. The other options don't work because they don't use letters from both words in the same way or from the correct positions. Now, let's look at question number 2. It says pikey, sun, mundane follows the same rule as brace, ledger. Again, we need to discover the rule in the first example. In pikey, sun, mundane, the word sun is made up from letters again. The letter S is in pikey, and the letters U and N are in mundane. This time, the pattern takes 1 letter from the first word and 2 letters from the second word. Now, let's apply this same rule to brace, ledger. We need to find the word that uses 1 letter from brace and 2 letters from ledger. The correct answer is red. The letter R is in brace, and the letters E and D are in ledger. That fits the pattern perfectly.
The other options don't follow the same rule of taking one letter from the first word and two from the second. Moving on to question number 3. This says ribbon, ring, follows the same rule as siege, thick. Let's figure out the rule in the first example. Ribbon, ring, sing. The word ring is made up of letters again. The letter R is in ribbon, and the letters I and G are in sing. So this pattern takes one letter from the first word and 3 letters from the second word. Now, let's apply this to siege, thick. We need a word that takes one letter from siege and 3 letters from thick. The correct answer is sick. The letters S and I are in siege, and the letters C and K are in thick. This follows the same kind of pattern as the first example. Actually, it's slightly different because it takes 2 letters from each word, but it still uses letters from both the outside words, which is the main idea of the pattern. Finally, let's look at question number 4. It says orange, iron, follows the same rule as aesthetic, brat. Let's figure out the rule in orange, iron, iron. The word iron is made from letters again. The second letter I is in lice, and the first and fourth letters O and N are in orange. So this pattern takes one letter from the second word and 2 letters from the first word. Now, let's apply this to aesthetic brat. We need a word that uses 1 letter from brat and 2 letters from aesthetic. The correct answer is rat. The second letter R is in brat, and the first and fourth letters O and T are in aesthetic. That follows the same pattern as the first example.
Question 5. The puzzle states epigram, cage, follows the same rule as parish, sane. The choices are A pen, B pen, C hen, D ran, E her. The correct answer is B pen. Now, why not the others? Ran. To make ran, we'd need R from parish and N from sane. That's splitting the letters 1 to 2, which isn't like our example, her. All the letters H, E, and R are right there in parish. We need letters from both outside words, pen and hen. They do split letters 2 to 1, but pin is the answer this question wants. Here's the breakdown. The secret rule is that the middle word's letters come from the outer words in a specific pattern. Let's look at epigram cage. The egg takes E and G from epigram. Then, the last G comes from cage. See the pattern? 2 letters from the first word, 1 from the second, a 2 to 1 split. So for parish, sane, pin fits best. P and I are in parish, 2 letters. N is in sane, 1 letter. That 2 to 1 pattern is what we're looking for. Question 6, word codes. 3 of 4 words are given a code. The codes are not written in the same order as words, and 1 code is missing. Words, magic, racer, micro, cream. Codes, 68,259, 38,913, 65,937. The multiple choices are A98732, B93186, C83126, D23168, E39165. The answer is B93186. The other codes don't match the letters in cream using our letter to number code. Here's how we got that answer. These questions use a letter number code. If we look at all the code questions, 6 to 10, we can find out what number each letter stands for. So A equals 8, C equals 9, E equals 1, G equals 2, I equals 5, M equals 6, R equals 3, O equals 7. We need the code for cream. C equals 9, R equals 3, E equals 1, A equals 8, M equals 6. Put them together and you get 93,186. Question 7. Find a code for the word grace. Multiple choices. A98316, B23891, C89215, D56182, E31698. Correct answer, B23891. The other choices use the wrong numbers for the letters in grace. Explanation. We're still using the same code from before. A equals 8, C equals 9, E equals 1, G equals 2, I equals 5, M equals 6, R equals 3, O equals 7. Let's code grace. G equals 2, R equals 3, A equals 8, C equals 9, E equals 1. That gives us 23,891. Question 8. Find the word for 98,537. Multiple choices. A. Crump, B. Rover, C. Cairo, D. Macon, E. Naked. Correct answer, C. Cairo. The other words don't match the numbers in the code. Crump starts with 9 and 3, not 9 and 8. Explanation. Now we're turning a code back into a word. A equals 8, C equals 9, E equals 1, G equals 2, I equals 5, M equals 6, R equals 3, O equals 7. We have 98,537. 9 equals C, 8 equals A, 5 equals I, 3 equals R, 7 equals O that spells Cairo. Question 9. Which word is written as 9821? Multiple choices. A. Came, B. Race, C. Cage, D. Grim, E. Mace. Correct answer, C. Cage. Came would be 9,861. Race would be 3,891. Explanation. Let's crack this code again. A equals 8, C equals 9, E equals 1, G equals 2, I equals 5, M equals 6, R equals 3, O equals 7. The code is 9,821. 9 equals C, 8 equals A, 2 equals G, 1 equals E. Putting it all together spells cage. Question 10. What is the code for the word mark? Your choices are A, 6,893, B, 6,839, C, 9,836, D, 6,831, or E, 9,831. The correct answer is B, 6,839. Why not the others? Well, the other options either use the wrong numbers or have the correct numbers in the wrong order. Option A is just a mix-up of the right numbers. Options C, D, and E all have some incorrect numbers for the letters in mark. Here's how we figure it out. We have a special code where each letter stands for a number. A equals 8, C equals 9, E equals 1, G equals 2, I equals 5, M equals 6, R equals 3, O equals 7. So let's replace each letter and mark with its number. M equals 6, A equals 8, R equals 3, C equals 9. Put them together in the right order and you get 6,839. Question 11. This one is a word puzzle. Can you find a hidden 4-letter word in this sentence? The child was afraid of the apes. Your choices are A, the child, B, child was, C, was afraid, D, a V, or E, the apes. The correct answer is E, the apes. The rule here is that the hidden word is made from the end of one word and the beginning of the next. None of the other pairs make a real word this way. The apes works like this. Take the last 2 letters from the, which are H and E, and the first 2 letters from apes, which are A and P. Put them together and you get heap. Question 12. Let's try another hidden word puzzle. Find the hidden 4-letter word in this sentence. That old man told a great story. Your choices are A, old man, B, a great, C, man told, D, that old, or E, great story. The correct answer is D, that old. Again, we're looking for a 4-letter word made from the end of one word and the start of the next. The other pairs don't give us a real word. That old works like this. Take the last letter of that, T, and the first 3 letters of old, old. Put them together and you get told. Question 13. Ready for another one? Find the hidden 4-letter word in this sentence. The surgeon reached for operating tools that were meticulously sterilized for the patient. Your choices are A, surgeon reached, B, for operating, C, operating tools, D, that were, or E, meticulously sterilized. The correct answer is B, for operating. Remember, we're making a 4-letter word from parts of 2 words next to each other. For operating works like this. Take the last letter of 4R and the first 3 letters of operating, OPE. Put them together and you get rope. Question 14. Okay, let's find those hidden words. National Geographic showed a panda shifting himself on a bamboo tree. Your choices are A, National Geographic, B, showed panda, C, panda shifting, D, shifting himself, or E, bamboo tree. The correct answer is C, panda shifting, and E, bamboo tree. So panda shifting works like this. You take the last 2 letters of panda, DA, and the first two letters of shifting, SH, and that spells dash. And lastly, bamboo tree, taking the last three letters of bamboo, nubo, and the first letter of tree gives the hidden word boot. Question 15. Last one. The need for student-centric education has increased over time. Your choices are A, the need, B, of student, C, centric education, D, has increased, or E, over time. The correct answer is C, centric education, and A, the need. So, centric education works like this. You take the last three letters of centric, RIC, and the first letter of education, E, and that spells rice. And lastly, the need. Taking the whole word of the and the first letter of need, N spells then. English comprehension questions together. Question 1. How many meters above sea level does Gum lie? The options are A, 2,200 meters, B, 2,255 meters, C, 100 meters, D, 2,255 meters, duplicate, and E, 2,055 meters. The correct answer is B or D, 2,255 meters. Why not the other options? Well, 2,200 meters is how high the train goes to Darjeeling, not the highest point. 100 meters is where the train starts, and 2,055 meters isn't mentioned at all. Gum is the highest point on the journey, and the text says it's a bit higher than Darjeeling, about 2,255 meters. Question 2. Which one of the following statements is true? The choices are A, the Indian climate is always mild, B, the Darjeeling toy train is green, C, there are 6 zigzags, D, Mount Kangchenjunga is the world's second highest mountain, E, the toy train was granted World Heritage status in 1989. The right answer is C. There are 6 zigzags. Let's see why the others are wrong. The text doesn't say the Indian climate is always mild. The train is bottle blue, not green. Kangchenjunga is the third highest, not second. And the text doesn't mention 1989. But it does say the engineers made 6 zigzags. Half a dozen is 6. Question 3. In which year did the toy train make its first journey up through the hills to Darjeeling? Your options are A, 1882, B, 1919, C, 1880, D, 1891, E, 1881. The correct answer here is E, 1881. The text says clearly that the toy train made its inaugural journey in 1881. The year 1919 is when a memorial was commissioned. Question 4. Why was the Batasia Loop constructed? The possible answers are A, to create a viewing point, B, to carry more people, C, to make the slope less steep, D, to add extra carriages, E, to make the train go faster. The correct answer is C, to make the slope less steep. The loop does have a nice view, but the main reason was to lower the gradient of ascent, which means to make the climb less steep. Question 5. During which months of the year is India's monsoon season? The options are A, from June to August, B, from August to September, C, from June to July, D, from June to September, E, from August to June. The answer is A, from June to August. The text tells us directly that the monsoon season is, quote, from June to August. Question 6. The Batasia Loop boasts a panoramic view of Darjeeling. What does the word panoramic mean here? The choices are A, stunning, B, unspoiled, C, picturesque, D, a hazy view, E, a wide view. The correct answer is E, a wide view. While the view might be stunning or picturesque, panoramic specifically means a wide, unbroken view of the area. Question 7. What is the average speed of the Darjeeling toy train? The choices are A, 88 kilometers per hour, B, 44 kilometers per hour, C, 22 kilometers per hour, D, 66 kilometers per hour, E, 55 kilometers per hour. The correct answer is B, 44 kilometers per hour. The journey is 88 kilometers and takes about 2 hours. Speed is distance divided by time, so 88 divided by 2 is 44. Question 8. Which number stop on the toy train's route is the town of Gum? The choices are A, the 14th stop, B, Gum is the 12th station on the line, C, the toy train begins its journey from Gum, D, it is the 13th stop, E, it is the 10th stop. The correct answer is D. It is the 13th stop. Question 9. Question 9. What word is synonymous with the word aptly in line 11? Your choices are A, imaginatively, B, sensibly, C, amusingly, D, traditionally, and E, fittingly. The correct answer is E, fittingly. Now, aptly named means the name is suitable or appropriate. And fittingly also has a similar meaning. Question 10. What was the occupation of Mark Twain? Was he A, a fisherman, B, a painter, C, an actor, D, a farmer, or E, an author? The correct answer is E. He was an author. Line 40 refers to him as the American writer Mark Twain. And a writer is also known as an author. Question 11. How far from Darjeeling is the Gorkha Memorial? Is it A, 15 kilometers, B, 5 miles, C, 15 miles, D, 5 kilometers, or E, 500 meters? The correct answer is D, 5 kilometers. Line 28 tells us the loop is 5 kilometers from Darjeeling. So the distance is 5 kilometers. Question 12. How many years after the train was first inaugurated was the Bethesda Loop commissioned? Was it A, 36 years, B, 38 years, C, 28 years, D, 44 years, or E, 48 years? The correct answer is B, 38 years. Now, this is a calculation question. The train was inaugurated in 1881, and the Bethesda Loop was commissioned in 1919. So to find the difference, we subtract 1881 from 1919, which gives us 38 years. Question 13. How are the engines on the Darjeeling business trains powered? Are they A, run on steam, B, driven by coal, C, diesel-powered, D, electric, or E, a hybrid of electric and petrol? The correct answer is C, diesel-powered. Lines 15 to 16 tell us that the engines were upgraded from steam to diesel for the main Darjeeling business service. Question 14. What type of travelers does the toy train attract? A, primarily local passengers, B, mostly European business travelers, C, the majority of travelers are American tourists, D, Gorkha officers from the Indian Army, or E, train enthusiasts from all over the world? The correct answer is A, primarily local passengers. Line 30 says that the Darjeeling toy train sees more civilian Indian travelers than visiting foreign tourists. Question 15. How old was Mark Twain when he enjoyed a ride on the Darjeeling toy train? Was he A, 60 years old, B, 61 years old, C, 62 years old, D, 62 years old, or E, 63 years old? The correct answer is A. Mark Twain was 60 years old. Mark Twain was born on November 30th, 1835. He rode the train in October 1896. That means he was 60 years old because he hadn't had his birthday yet that year.